That's what's going on. It's Mr. Madduck here, and in today's episode, I wanted to show you guys a little part 1 video of how to make your very own Kylo Ren lightsaber. So to start out with the Kylo Ren lightsaber, what you're going to need is the basic pipe that we used for the Luke Skywalker lightsaber in our last prop video, which is of course the 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe. Now the best thing about this is it's easy to drill and cut through because it's just doesn't have a lot of thickness to the pipe. So that's actually really good. Next thing is you're going to want these other 2 pieces. Now you can get an end cap for the bottom, but I don't prefer it because it's not very important, because there's another detail I forgot that I'm going to get to in another episode. So let me go get those 2 pieces right now. Alright, so I got all 3 pieces. I forgot about the hilt. So basically we cut off a piece of the hilt and we took big zip ties, big old zip ties that came in like a pack of 5. And we got those for about $2 at Walmart. Now I took some painter's tape that I got for also about $2, and I took the zip tie and I cut out a small sliver that seemed appropriate to it. And what I did is I basically measured it all the way down to the bottom, where it is straight, because there's actually a wire leading down straight to the middle from this one to the middle of this. So I took the zip ties and I cut them all to the same size, and I drew out the shape of where they would go, and I put painter's tape over that shape. All the painter tape slits are the same size. These just had a little running more off the top. So that's the hilt. That's the handle. And here is the centerpiece. Now, Kylo Ren's lightsaber, I actually cut into this with a saw and drilled into it with just about like a 1/4 of an inch drill bit. And I basically drilled right here. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get my hacksaw to go all the way through here. So what I need to do is drill all of this out and sand it down. So that's what we have to do. There's this little slit. You want to make sure you draw out everything on this piece, and this final piece I'm going to talk about in a minute. I put painter's tape right here because I want to paint detail on this later, and I'm feeling like I want to do that without putting on spray paint primer. So that's about it for the middle one, and you want to make sure it's a 1 1/4 inch, because you want to make sure that it perfectly fits. And when you're buying this, go to like the hardware store where they sell all these pieces. Make sure this piece snugly fits the handle. That's those 2 pieces. Now this was actually an odd piece, because this was actually the same diameter as this. So I actually saw we needed to do that, because if it's the same diameter, that means we can actually fit it inside here, for example. Now granted, it's a bit loose because it's not really made for this kind of thing, but this actually did fit really well. And also the hacksaw, I took it, cut off this, straight line, then on both sides I did the same thing. And the final thing to take the actual piece off was I drilled straight across here to where the sides of the top piece meet. Speaking of the top piece, you're going to want to cut about half of that off, because this is actually a shorter kind of piece to it. Now you don't want to leave this bottom piece cut or anything. You want to leave it the same. You don't even want to sand it down. That's not really important. So yeah, that's basically it for the pieces. Now let's get on to why the painter's tape is here. So the painter's tape is here because I wanted to paint this with a regular paintbrush, not with spray paint, which I'm going to use to prime down all of these 3 pieces, then paint them tomorrow, giving you guys a paint review. But I guess now I'm just going to work on the basic details, show you guys what I've already done, show you guys what all this stuff is for, and explain to you when I should what you should probably do to get all these. So what you're going to want for the handle is, as I'd said, you'd want zip ties. Now make sure they are the right size, and there isn't really a exact size, just appropriate, which means like not like that big or that big, or just like about this big. So not really big, but a little bigger than normal zip ties you've seen. And you're going to want to make sure you have a thin wire, some sort of thin wire. Cut it 6 times into the same size, and you should have that wire running down there. Next, what you're going to want is some sandpaper. Now, my sandpaper was a bit more fine, which means you could actually rub your hand against it and it wouldn't scratch it. It would just like feel like rubbing it against a smooth stone. But you're going to want to sand this down after cutting it, and I cut this about this much. So this was about 5 feet. However, you guys see that I did take the hacksaw and cut this off. So you're gonna want to make sure you cut this to about that size. I'm gonna do a full view on it real quick. So not too big, and I actually made one that was too small. Didn't feel right, didn't work right. And down here, you're going to want some sort of thing like foam core, which I'm probably going to have to pick up or something. But you're going to want like foam core, because you want something strong and durable. You want something strong and durable for you to attach things and glue this to. Of course, you're going to want to sand it down the other side. Next thing, middle piece. You're going to want to take a hacksaw blade, and you're going to want to cut down a bunch here so it's easier to drill through. Next, you're going to want painter's tape, which you're going to need to paint all these down. Now, you're going to want a pencil, of course, because you're going to label down each part of this as where you're going to put things. And I gotta say, the last thing you're going to need, the last things you will need are detailing, of course, which are, like foam core, I said, black paint primer, and flat black paint. You don't want to go gloss black. That won't look really authentic to the movie. And that may be it. That may be all. Oh yeah, you also need some sort of blue, red, rustic kind of heated paint. So you're going to want that kind of paint to do on detail where I put the painter's tape on. Except for this piece here. You want to leave that unpainted with the hand paint. I just left that there so I could tear it off and glue on the zip ties. So I gotta say that's about it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next episode. And in the next episode, I'm probably going to do like a short, funny video, or maybe even continue on this piece. But hope you guys enjoy. See you all in the next episode. Peace out, everybody. Mr. Maddock here, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.